There you go, little baby. There you go, little baby Frida. Hello, Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Dorsey here. And while Frida is gonna chow down, I thought I would go and show and tell on Sunday. It is quite airish out today, probably mid 50s maybe. It's kind of a winter day for us. It's the closest thing we've had to winter in a while. Probably not enough to slow down the progress of our trees, which look at all that progress. You see all those little salmon colored specks of progress? Yeah. Go babies. Go babies go. So I'm really enjoying the last 2 days off. Were very nice. The Ponderosa got put back in its spot where it lives last night right after shooting. As promised, the cork bark oak is now rotated around. That's the front, and it is now bowing to us. And I just kind of gave it a little bow back. And all these little sprouts that came out last year, all think they're going to catch me not looking and try to come back out again. That is energy being sent to the wrong places, little tree. But it sure is nice to see it flush out with, last year I was talking about how I had foliage on the end but no back budding. And this year, what a difference a year makes. One little trick, the little trick I learned about pruning the ends to tell the tree to release the auxin, basically to get the auxin out of the end, and to tell the tree that that's not the atypical dominant portion, but to allow resources to go other places. And that one little trick, at the time, without knowing that, I didn't want to clip the ends because that was the only growth I had going. So, I just wouldn't have thought to have done that to try to get the results I wanted. But yeah, sure is nice. And sure is nice whenever you start seeing, when you learn little tricks like that and you start seeing good results from them. I'm starting to see good results from my Japanese black pine, my cork bark black pine, 75-year-old Japanese cork bark black pine. Go baby, go baby. And I haven't watered this thing in a while. It has, look at that, and look how well it did. It got watered 3 days ago. But that system, I like the new system I've got for, I know this is like got to be the third or fourth video where I've mentioned it, but yeah, I guess you can tell. It'll help me to get into a rhythm. There'll come a point where I probably it'll be more instinctual, but even that is dangerous. It's breezy out today. It's kind of like, I don't know, it was going to remind us all of different things, but this weather does very much remind me of the spring weather back home growing up in Southeast Texas. Everybody would start doing their little Easter thing, would start getting geared up around now for all of those who would celebrate those things. And I remember them being cloudy and sunny and blustery days, kind of like what we're having here in Alameda, California. I've commented before that in a lot of ways, the town I've settled into now, and I really like Alameda, looks quite a bit like the town I grew up in, which now I think is a ghost town, Orange, Texas. I'm not sure if there's much left of it. But anyway, this is the more progress on our wisteria. It's just being so pretty. So I increased the bend in it a little. There's a video coming out about that later. You'll see that later. It's just a short thing I did last night while I was watching anime, and I brought the wisteria in so I could watch the blooms pop and stuff. And I was sitting there next to my wisteria, next to my sleeping dog, and I was in my house slippers and my robe, and I thought I should just maybe while everything's all cool. Anyway, I'm not gonna give up the video. I'm not gonna play the video in advance, but here's some more looks at the Sister Fusion wisteria. It is just used the cliche busting out, but it fit. It's exactly what it's doing. As is this one. It's just got new shoots coming out all over it. A lot of times wisterias will bloom, I think, twice a year. I thought this one might bloom at the end of the year when I started noticing the other wisterias in the neighborhood blooming, but it did not. But a lot of times, but this one did bloom 2 years in a row. And I've heard other people say that their bonsai wisterias don't necessarily bloom every year. So I think that's just a little gift that it's happened, and it's just getting started. It'll be doing that now for, I mean, those blooms don't last a long time, but it'll be doing that now for the next week. And like I said, it's just getting started. They're just starting to pop open. We've got the whole little run of firecrackers left there to go. And so yesterday when we were doing all the talk about the ponderosas, we didn't talk that much, or I didn't show that much about my little show hen ponderosa. And as you can see, for a show hen, the needles are probably quite large. If I wanted to do a really great display on this might be the one that I would think about maybe doing some scions on, some grafting. So, but I don't think so. I mean, never say never. But I like my little whimsical ponderosa the way it is. On one hand, everything doesn't have to always exactly conform to everyone else's idea of bonsai. And for that matter, you can't. We all have like slightly varied concepts of what bonsai is. And so you can't be all things to all people. But I like this little tree pretty much just the way it is, except for the maple leaf that's blown in there right there. Got it. Okay. All right. And I just love this little tree. It's 25 years old. I got it at the same time that that I got the larger ponderosa. When I saw that I was going to be shipping a large box from the Dakotas, I went to look and see what they had that was tiny that could go in the box with it, knowing that there was going to be some dead spaces in there. And that worked out pretty well. It was nicely priced, and it was cheap to ship because of that. However, both trees came upside down because FedEx was, I don't know how they are right now, but at this time, I guess maybe COVID was a lot to ask, but they really scared me when it came to this tree. It came in a large box, like a hot water heater box, and the person that I had bought the tree from had built a wooden frame to encase the pot, and then taped it down to the base of the frame, and then took wet newspaper and applied them to the top of the pots, and then shrunk wrap all of that stuff down so that it maintained some moisture the whole time, even when it got lost for 5 days. And being lost for 5 days basically meant that FedEx drove from 80 miles away to here every day and didn't deliver the tree. And when I finally got it, the box was upside down with a this side up label pointed straight down clearly. And yeah, I was pretty irritated. So that was how I started with my two ponderosas. But they have done nothing but give back ever since. I think this needle damage is probably reflecting of the little bit of tumbling that they took. But the new growth is coming to the rescue. All the little needles are budding out in all the little places where they're supposed to. So we're pretty happy with that. So yeah, the weird thing this morning I noticed earlier today when I was watering, the soil is mounding up, like rising up, like I can obviously tell in just a couple of days. There's a rumbling underneath the ground of my little cypress, and it's starting to put out what looks like it's got a bit of a shoot coming out here. The first one, that'll be our new fronds coming out from the side. Glad to see that also. It's really good to see all the growth on all the pine trees and all the cypress trees, and they are all just they're going great guns. I can't hardly do enough cliches to round out how I feel about the progress of all of these trees in just a couple of days. Now, I've got a little oddity going on. They're having a hiccup at work. My schedule, I've just got Frida used to it. I just got used to it. I was just looking at all the advantages to the schedule I was on. And then 2 hours later, I got a text that it was going to change next week. So there's some good to it, though. The obvious good to it is that my schedule is pretty set as far as the days of week, the amount of days of week that I work. But it's what days is it? And I had currently had the beautiful system of working Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The only disadvantage was I used to shoot Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I said, well, if it's that huge of a deal, you can pre-tape them. But you know what? I never did. I just kept shooting when I kept shooting and dropping as I would tend to do. But now they want me to come in on Monday as planned, like I plan to do tomorrow, and then take off Tuesday, and then take off Wednesday, and then take off Thursday, and then show up Friday, and then show up Saturday, and that's basically it. So that pretty much opens things up. I've got 3 days to shoot all the videos right there in the middle of the week that I could possibly want, and then still one day on the weekend, and still so all of that can work right into my evil hands. And I don't know how long that this might be. I haven't talked to the higher ups about what that is. It does have some drawbacks. It means that I torque little Frida out 2 days in a row. I don't know. She might not even notice, so that might actually be a thing. But the other side to it is I am gone from my department at work for 3 days. And I know that when I'm gone for 2 days, I come back and the place is a wreck. So I'm going to go, yeah, I don't want to be gone 3 days in a row, y'all. Y'all maybe think y'all were doing me a big favor, but y'all were just making my work harder. And the shenanigans increase while I'm away. So, I'm all about shenanigans, but in my little department there at work, I'm also in charge of shenanigan control. I'm the one who allows and disallows shenanigans. So I think that would be harder to do with me being gone 3 days. I'm going to talk to the people and find out whether or not it's permanent or temporary. I don't really have any say over it, but I am going to try to make a case that I hope it's temporary. Other people would love that. I mean, can you imagine a job where you have 3 days off in the middle of the week? I just think that I don't dislike my job enough that I want to be away from it that long. I think that would probably cause me more work when I have to come back. Anyway, that's what's going on there. So if my shooting schedule gets a little weird or looks like it hadn't really settled, it could be a little weird, and it might not have really settled. But in the meantime, I got to get back to what I was talking about. Can you see how many shoots are coming out of these new leaders? They are just absolutely speckled with buds. Okay, I don't have anything else really to go on about except all the new growth. Oh yeah, and I've got little shoots coming out. I don't know if I showed you that or not, if I actually caught that in the camera, but I've got little shoots coming out over here. Oh, and our lights just popped up. It must be 4:30. Shoots busting out on the trunk there, and the little lean-to that's next to this cypress tree is starting to bud out now. That's kind of cute, watching all that. So that's us. We're cooling our jets. I call this little sister. This is little sister, our little oak tree. It has stopped suffering ill effects once I took it out of the direct light to a more filtered light situation. And so yeah, I think I haven't noticed it. It hasn't started doing anything yet. It's like it's still in shock. But yeah, and everything is on one side too. I look forward to it starting to put out shoots and bud out. And once it does, if I have shoots coming out on both sides of this guy, I think at some point I may give it a chop right about here. Right, if I've got like branching coming out on either side there, I would probably cut my heights down to about there. And there you can kind of see right there, that's that little bit, that's the that was the little bungee stick that I used to push the roots down, and it runs underneath this wire, as does this sheet of rubber to protect the trunk. Can you see that little trunk? That's a great looking little trunk for 2 years. The neat thing about Shohin is they make wonderful little bonsai, and I could actually have a cool looking tree, providing I get to keep this little guy, little sister, we're gonna call it, little sister. And 4 years. This could be a really cool little tree in 4 years. I mean, it's a really cool tree now, but to somebody besides the mom, this could be a really cool tree to other people in 4 years. They would go, wow, that's a neat looking little oak tree. So, and those little spikes there are its defense mechanism. Its mom, which you could almost kind of, I don't know if we could get a look of it. It's down there. But its mom doesn't have those. Its mom has little Tylenol shaped leaves that actually look more like an olive. Older oaks sometimes have these little Tylenol olive shaped leaves. But the little ones from the weed eaters and do the same thing that they would do if they were getting eaten by cows or goats or anything else, deer. And the new flesh of leaves comes out bigger and with those spikes all over them. I hope you're having an awesome Sunday. Frida and I are having an awesome Sunday. She's chowing down on her kibble, and we're cooling our jets on the bonsai balcony. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps out our algorithm. We've got a few people who are down that are friends of ours are down with COVID. I think the guys at Let's Do Bonsai, and also Nigel at the Bonsai Zone. I hope you guys are taking good care of yourselves and just taking it easy and chilling, and get better really quick. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy this Sunday.